delighted and honoured to interview today Brad Burton, the founder of 4N. Brad, how are you today?
Kicking ass as always, Victoria.
That's what I like to hear. Good. And kicking people's asses as well, I should think.
That's part of my job. You know what I say to people? I said it's a bit like as soon as people have signed the waiver, it's a bit like being at the top of a bungee. I go 3, 2, 1 and push them off.
That's it.
And I end up helping people make the decisions that they kind of want to do, but they're scared of.
Yeah, the deprocrastinator.
Correct.
For you. Right. Okay, cool. Well, listen, it's lovely to meet you at last. I know it's a long time coming. The last time I had interaction with 4N, I think you guys were just coming to Milton Keynes.
Right. That's 2008.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you came to my expo and did a big launch there. You might not have known that, but
amazing.
There we go. So let's just start at the beginning, Brad. So obviously, kid up north, tell us about that, and then how you kind of became the person you are today.
Yeah, good question. I mean, so back in 1995, I actually got shot at in Manchester, and it caused me to move away. And what's funny about that is when I moved away, I spent probably 2 or 3 years on benefits over in Western-super-Mare, Somerset, and I kind of didn't know who I was or what I wanted to be. Anyway, fast forward now to about 2004, and I was working at a company, and I told my employer to shove the job up the backside, walked out of the job days before Christmas, and my wife was furious with that decision. I was £25,000 in debt, no income, and it culminated in me delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat because I started my own marketing business off. Anyway, with that, I'd gone along to these networking events, and in political terms, you had the kind of 2 schools of thought. You had the loony left, where nothing quite happens. It's all very nice, shabbily and volivants. Then you've got the hardcore right. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? I'm thinking, where is the mainstream of networking? And it never existed. So I started 4Networking back in February 16th, 2006. And it was the only network in the land that really was 50% social, 50% business, and it worked. That was a tagline. But it was the only network in the land where, as a member, you can go to any group. So you could go to Milton Keynes on a particular day, then you could go to Manchester, then you could go to Cornwall, Scotland, whatever. And we ended up running 5,000 business networking meetings each year across the UK, all linked up, completely fundamentally different to anything that had gone before. And that all went horribly wrong when COVID came along, because if you run 5,000 face-to-face networking meetings, guess what? COVID comes along and restrictions, and now you run none. So it's been a difficult, challenging 19 months, I'll be honest with you.
I know, absolutely. Well, we're in the same industry, but we do slightly different types of networking, which we'll get onto later. But in terms of, how did you adapt to that situation as a business?
Well, you know what? It's you can't delegate responsibility, and as a leader, you've got to make decisions that not everyone will agree with. We was the first network to go online. We was the first network ever to go online. We did it within 72 hours, and other networks were waiting to see what happens. And if you wait to see what happens, nothing happens, you're out of business. So it took us 72 hours, and then we was online. We took the network, the 500 meetings a month. We took it online, and we probably run about 150 every single month. So we've kind of done the passport thing online, and actually we're now heading back to a kind of hybrid model, which so many companies are. But look, who knows what networking of tomorrow looks like? But what I do know is that we are kind of there with whichever way it goes. We're going to be leading the charge on that. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's brilliant what you do. And just talk us through, for people who, the minority who don't know about 4Networking, talk us through the formula. What makes it so special and successful?
I think what we did was I looked at it as that, I'm just a working class lad from Salford, Manchester, and every single time that I went to a networking event, it was all very hoity-toity. It was all very Chablis and Volivants, and people talking hedge funds and vertical markets and the words and stuff that I didn't understand. For me, networking is about people. If I don't like you and you don't like me, this interview would not be happening. So somewhere along the way, it's that bit, and I think that's what 4Networking does. And in our format is fundamentally different to other people's. Although to be honest, everyone's copied it, not everyone, but lots of people have copied since we started it. Because what we have at 4Networking is 3 10-minute one-to-ones in the meeting, and 10 minutes is long enough to establish, do you like somebody? So the way that it works is you have a 40-second round, typical. Everyone stands up, and the reason we did 40 seconds, again, most networks do 60. The reason we did 60 at 40 seconds was because I'd been along to a network and somebody couldn't wait to go 58, 59, ding, please sit down. And I thought, you're just taking the energy off the meeting completely. So we call it a 40 seconds, although it could go on to 60. We're not religious, 38, 39, 40, you know. So there's all these kind of things that I looked at the networking scene. And I said to myself, go back to the political, loony left, hard right. Both, you know, these were the extremes. Where was the mainstream? And the mainstream didn't exist until we created it. So for networking, go back to that 50% social, 50% business, the online network, sorry, the national passport network, and also we kind of mixed it online as well. So we have an online platform, which has got a new one launched on Monday. Online platform, twin with real life face-to-face, twin with online networking. It's completely different and unique at a national level as well.
It's fantastic. And how many members have you got currently at the moment engaging with
thousands?
Thousands.
That's what I'm saying until my solicitor arrives. Thousands.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good. So, in terms of you as an individual, then, so I can see all your books behind you, and your motivational speaking gigs that you do. Tell us all about that part of your life.
So, when I went to careers officer at 16, he said, "You know what you'd be?" I said, "Go on." He said, "You'd make for an amazing motivational speaker." No, he didn't. You know, I kind of fell into it in that I would be speaking at 4Network, and we do a foresight, which is an insight, not a sales pitch, every single meeting. And when we first started, they didn't have anyone to do it, so it was me. I ended up doing it. And when I first started, I was shaking like a leaf, so nervous. And when it comes to speaking, I think it's one of those things that nobody really enjoys until you enjoy it. And what happened is I would be speaking at these events and people would say, "Oh, Brad, you're so motivational, you're so inspirational." And I'd be like, "Thanks." And people keep saying it and saying it and saying it. It's like, whoa. And I thought to myself, how do you become a motivational speaker? You just make a website and say you're a motivational speaker. And that's what I did. And then somewhere along the way, people started booking me. And then, you know, clients, JTV, Costa, the NHS, Zero, all these amazing big companies started contacting me. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a bit of fun here. And people say to me, "Brad, how do you become the UK's #1 motivational business speaker?" Once again, I just made a website and said I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. and I get booked as such. And the great thing is when I did that, is I had loads of people kicking off, "He's not the UK's #1 motivational business speaker." And I said, "Well, who is?" "Well, it's not you." "Okay, why is it not me?" And this is the thing, motivational business speaker sounds like it's been around forever. The first reference online of it is from me.
Wow, really?
It never existed. So it's a term that never existed. So I kind of seen that it never existed, got hold of it, and then people started arguing the toss. And I describe it, the best way to describe it, Victoria, is you and I are in a nightclub, there's a £20 note on the floor. You pick it up. No, you pick it up. You pick it up. No, you're near it. You pick it up. And then somebody comes along, picks the £20 note up, and then what happens is me and you start arguing as to who should have picked it up. So actually what was great about that is there's no point in me saying I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker if I can't hold a sentence and I can't present. So actually I became that person. And it genuinely, clients, Bentley, Costa, NHS, it's just been amazing how well received. And you know, I've never walked over the Great Wall of China on a Pack-a-Mac or on a unicycle. But what I have done is I've overcome lots of adversity in my life to do something with my life. I'm a council kid who's lived on council estates all my life, 4 years on benefits, no qualifications. Dad was addicted to drugs. I got shot at when I was 21. You know, I delivered pizza at 31. Yet somewhere along the way, I've written 4 books, run a national business, you know, £1 million plus. It was before COVID, and actually just turn my life around. But what this is about up here. It's about where you end up in your life as a direct result of your decisions, good ones and bad ones. And the reason that people end up in bad places is because they make bad decisions. So if you want to get into a good place in your life, start making better decisions, and that's exactly what I teach.
And lack of discipline, I think, as well. Is
100%.
Consistency. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's great just to hear a normal person talking about doing something great. I love these stories. I've got lots of friends who will love talking to you as well, who are also now doing great things. Good. So just to sort of conclude, what are you looking for right now? If someone's listening to this because we're going to podcast it, or if someone is watching this, what is Brad looking for August 2021?
Well, I think, you know, for me, networkcentral.biz, which will be launching on the 9th of August, it'll be launched, networkcentral.biz, and you'll see that we once again are the future of business networking. When I started off, my first ever words at 4Networking, that first ever launch, was "Welcome to the future of business networking," and people laughed, they sniggered at that very event. I remember there was 10 tables in the room, one table laughed and sniggered right at the back, and that is my enduring memory of that. And I'm going to say the same again, welcome to the future of business networking, because we are coming from a position where effectively the entire game board has been wiped. And now it's time to rebuild and rebuild again, but rebuild differently. So if anyone's interested in finding me, do check me out, Brad Burton. And actually, if you want to see me in my natural habitat speaking, go on Google, YouTube, Brad Burton, Zerocon with an X, Zerocon. And go and watch me on stage here, 3,000 accountants, keynote speaker. And actually, I think it's fair to say, even though I look like a drug dealer, shaved head tattoos, I'm not anymore. We can all change though, and that's what needs to happen. We all need to change. We need to recognise that right now, more than ever before, if you think you're going back to the way that it once was, you're going to end up losing. It is time for change.
Absolutely. I think it's very inspirational. So just run past your contact details. The best way to connect with you, is it LinkedIn or?
Yeah, just find me on social medias at Brad Burton, blue tick on Facebook, blue tick on Twitter, and Instagram is elusive. I'm working on that right now. But like I say, do check out networkcentral.biz.
Fantastic. All right, well, lovely to see you today. We're bang on 10 minutes. That's great.
Thank you.
I'll certainly be interviewing you again for more stories.
Wonderful. Cheers, all the best. Keep going.